All right, we are joined by driver of the number 21 Motorcraft Quick Lane Ford Mustang Dark Horse for Wood Brothers Racing, Josh Berry on the line here. Josh, we got you for 15 minutes. We'll get you out of here right at 11:30. We appreciate you joining us here. We've got them lined up here. So again, if you've got, we'll start with one question for each, and we'll get through as many as we can here for Josh as we get ready for the clash this weekend. Let's kick it off with Gary Gastelum. Gary, why don't you get us started?
Hey, Josh, season's kicking off this weekend, but how are you feeling about how it's going to end with the new playoffs format?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how if things change with how people race and how they think and how it evolves throughout the season. But obviously, consistency is going to be more important, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. And yeah, I'm excited. I think it makes each race mean that much more, and that's what they're trying to accomplish. So it should be fun.
All right, let's move over to Eddie. Eddie, you're up next. Go ahead.
Hey Josh, Eddie Kalegi Motorsports today. Obviously, the win early last season, playoffs didn't go the way you hoped, but a lot of positives for the program. So, how do you feel about the trajectory heading into year two here with the Wood Brothers?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Obviously, I agree. I think there's a lot of positives in our performance last year. Plenty of races where the finishes didn't indicate the types of days we had, and so that's been our focus. Is looking through some of that stuff and trying to figure out what we could do better and put ourselves in better positions to get the finishes that we deserve. And obviously, going back to the points format, that's going to be even more important. And but overall, I feel good. This is really the first year since I've been in Cup or Xfinity that I've really had the same group 2 years in a row. That's made the off season feel different. Kind of already working with these guys and knowing them and not establishing that communication. So I think that should be a positive as well. And we're ready to get to the clash.
All right, let's move over to John Newby. Hello, John.
Thank you. So, Josh, talking to a couple drivers at that test at North Wilkesboro a couple weeks ago, they were still getting adjusted to the new digital dash, and they're worried about it being kind of distracting in the early goings. I was curious, where do you guys stand after taking part in that test and having a bunch of hours behind the wheel?
I didn't notice too much of a change. I mean, it's got some LED lights that could be used to shift lights if you wanted to, but overall, I feel like it's pretty similar. It seems like it works quicker, like faster. It's better quality. So overall, I think it's all good, and really, I haven't experienced any issues. We ran pit road a couple times there, just practicing that, and felt good about everything. And overall, I feel like it's ready to go.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, Steven Toronto, you're up.
Josh, there's been a lot of talk about the weather for this weekend and the possibility of snow hitting Bowman Gray and potentially altering the schedule of this race. Have you heard anything in regards to what NASCAR is thinking and what might happen if it snows Saturday, Sunday, and we might have to push this race to a later date?
No, I haven't. I think we're all kind of in the same scenario, just waiting to see what they're thinking going forward. But I would say that that's probably a possibility looking at the forecast, and I assume that they're just probably waiting for it to get a little closer and get a better idea of what the weather's looking like before they make a decision. But for us, we're planning on racing.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Josh.
Let's go to Jordan Bianchi. Go ahead, Jordan.
Hey Josh, appreciate your time today. What has your interactions been with Steve O'Donnell? How would you describe his leadership style?
Um, I I haven't honestly had a whole lot of dealings with him. Really, I don't. Obviously been a part of some of those meetings when he's been around, but I mean, I really don't have opinion one way or the other, honestly.
Okay, thank you.
Matt Weaver, go ahead.
Hey guys, thanks for the time this morning. It's kind of a broad question, I know, but when you talk about how not having some of the finishes that you felt like you guys deserved, when you go back and look at the season holistically, is there like certain areas of execution that you've determined from behind the wheel that's something that you need to work on to be better at? And what is that one thing, if there is one thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think we sat down early in the off season and kind of broke it down and looked at each race, and I mean, it's a number of things, right? It's issues on pit road. Um, there's a couple speeding penalties over the course of the year. I mean, obviously that stuff you got to clean up. Issues on pit road with penalties, mechanical problems. We had a couple of those along the way. I think the biggest thing is just looking at the decision making, towards the end of these races maybe is the biggest thing, right? Like I think you're better off to take a top 10 than maybe put yourself in a bad spot that could result in it. But I mean, honestly, the key to that is not something that I don't think any of us really know. I mean, obviously you got to go out and race hard and fight for every spot. But just kind of learning with experience and just trying to make sure we get the finishes that we deserve. But the biggest thing I think is just limiting your mistakes. And like I said, we had a handful of those over the course of the year that hopefully, like I said, hopefully we can clean up and get the finishes we should.
Thank you.
All right, Scotty Powell, go ahead.
All right. Hey, Josh, thank you for joining us. You talked a little bit about it. This is like the first off season you've been able to work with a group that's not changed. So does that boost your confidence as you head into the 2026 season, knowing that you don't really have to get reacclimated with the folks that are new to the program?
Yeah, I think so. I think it helps us put us in a better spot. Obviously, the last couple of years in the Cup Series have been with two different organizations. Now going back to this and having the same group, same crew chief, same engineers, really same everybody. It just kind of feels more fluid. Really, it doesn't feel like you're starting over and learning each other as much. And it's made the off season feel a little bit longer, a little bit more refreshing because you're just not doing as much, random kind of things that you got to check off during the off season. And I'm excited for it. I feel like me and Miles have had a really good relationship, and now Miles is going into his second year as a crew chief as well. So I know he's only going to keep getting better, and feel like we're poised to have a strong year.
Thank you, Josh.
All right, Scotty, thank you. Let's go to Brian Mino. Go ahead, Brian.
Josh, Brian Mino for Victory Lane Network in Latin America. You and the team looked fast on the short track last year. Do you think that with the new horsepower package this year, you have a chance to win more race?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the short tracks, I feel like we had good performance. That was probably our strongest last year. I think that it'll be interesting to see how the horsepower package changes things. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, we feel strong in the short tracks. We're on board with the power change. I think it'll be a good thing for racing. And yeah, I feel like we can go out and win at short tracks, every time we go there.
All right. Thank you. Good luck in the clash.
Bailey DeFore. Go ahead, Bailey.
Hi, Josh. Bailey DeFore with Breaking Points, and thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Considering how different Bowman Gray is and your successes here, plus the freezing cold temperatures, how does all of that go into affecting your preparation for the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the weather's going to be interesting to follow, obviously, from just the schedule side of things and how much track time we get or don't get, if that becomes a factor. I think from the biggest thing is just prioritizing getting heat in your tires early in runs, early in practice, obviously qualifying. I mean, that's the biggest thing that stands out when it's cold like this is just making more of an effort to do that. But really inside the car, it doesn't change too much outside of that.
Thank you.
Samuel Stubbs, go ahead.
Hey Josh, I wanted to ask you about Daytona. It's your second 500 with the Wood Brothers this year. There's always kind of, I guess, an inherent pressure whenever you race the Daytona 500, but that organization has won that race 5 times. Do you feel there's, I guess, more pressure whenever you climb into that fame number 21 Ford for the 500?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, they've had a great history there, and it's a race that we all as drivers put pressure on ourselves to go out and perform well and hopefully compete for the win. I mean, it's the biggest race of the year, and obviously being a part of the Wood Brothers and Team Penske, their cars have always been really strong at those races, and being able to capitalize on that is something that's obviously really important to us. So hopefully we can go do that and avoid all the trouble, be there at the end and give ourselves a shot at it.
Thank you. Stay warm this weekend.
All right, let's move over to Brandon Stone. Hello, Brandon.
Hello there, and hello, Josh. Good to see you. Um, when I think about the story of why the last chase format was invented, it's for stories like what you did at Vegas last year, and then to see NASCAR change that and basically try to push away those stories. I'm wondering how that affects your feelings on the playoff change when victories like yours can be so life-changing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously it's a different format, but first time winners and first wins in this sport have always been something that's really popular and make for great stories. And there's no reason really that the playoff format changing should change the feeling that you get from when you have a first time winner or underdog story type deal, kind of like I guess we were last year. Obviously now it doesn't include an automatic, berth into the playoffs or the chase, but still it's a great story. And there's still gonna be a lot of storylines to follow throughout the season, as it evolves and as that changes. And, I think that, relying on consistency a little bit more, is probably going to put the best guys in the chase at the end of the year. And, we, as a team, obviously we feel a little more pressure going into this, knowing that we got to execute week in and week out, and to me that's not a bad thing.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
All right, going to try to squeeze in a couple more here, Josh. Let's go to Jackson Freiberger. Go ahead, Jackson.
Hey Josh, thanks for joining this morning. Quick question for you. As someone who came up through short track racing, what's one specific way that you'd like to see NASCAR continue supporting grassroots tracks such as Bowman Gray? And do you see room for rotating these exhibition events to other historic short tracks like Hickory, New Smyrna, or the Fairgrounds?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think they're off to a great start, obviously, with the investment they made into Bowman Gray, and then, SMI with North Wilkesboro as well. That's a great starting point, right? And I think that there's definitely room in the, with this exhibition clash that we could go around to some different places like the ones you mentioned and make an investment in there and improve their facilities and bring a really big event there. So, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that they can continue to do is just, support these tracks. And I think that, it'd be really cool to kind of see this race evolve into, traveling to some few different short tracks every couple of years, and they can make for some good stories.
Thank you, Josh.
Apologies to Claire, but I'd like to get Bob Francis in here for the last question, if that's okay. Go ahead, Bob.
Thank you, Dan. Hey, Josh, thanks for the time. Bob Francis, Go Full Throttle Racing News. So outside of Las Vegas, is there a particular track or weekend you're most looking forward to in the 26th season?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of them. I think there's a lot of places that we were really strong last year. Obviously love going to Martinsville. A lot of the short tracks, Phoenix, Richmond, we were really good at, and a little bit different on a few of the intermediates. Had some really good speed at a couple of them, miss it at a couple of them too. But I think generally, I feel like all the short tracks are going to be a really good opportunity for us to run really well and hopefully get a win.
Thank you, Josh.
All right, Josh, it's right at 11:30, 15 minutes on the nose. Appreciate all the short questions, the good questions from everybody on the group. Claire, I promise you'll be on the poll next week and you'll get the first question next week. So again, appreciate your time, Josh. Best of luck this weekend at Bowman Gray.
Thank you all.
To those of you on the call, if you are not on our email list on the Ford side, please shoot me an email. I'm going to put my email address in the chat here. And if you want to get on our mailing list for @track notes and quotes, all that kind of stuff, I'm going to put it in the chat, and just shoot me a note. Let me know what you need, and we'll get that out to everybody. So you can make sure that you're on our email list at the track for advisories for these kinds of calls, and then for transcripts, which I will put together from today's call as soon as we're done here. So appreciate everyone joining. Obviously keep your eye to X and your emails for this weekend's, if there are any schedule changes or anything, but we will probably be back after Daytona. We'll kind of see, obviously we got media day on Daytona 500 week. on that Wednesday and all. So we will probably get started with these on a regular basis after Daytona as we go week to week and the season kicks into full high gear. So appreciate everyone joining today, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.